Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you how to scrape data from Airbnb and send it to a Google Sheet with PixieBrix. I'm going to assume that you have already got PixieBrix installed and you have an account. If you haven't already, you can do that from our website. Just create a free account and install the extension. You'll be good to go. Next, you need to prep a spreadsheet. So I have a tab called Airbnb that has these different columns for things I may want to keep track of. You could do whatever you want here, like total beds, whatever you're trying to scrape here, you could do. And then I also have one for notes, which I'll show you how I can capture my own custom notes. So head to an Airbnb listing page and then open the page editor by right-clicking on the page and choosing Inspect, and then look for the PixieBrix tab. Next, you're going to click this Add button and then click Button, and it's going to let you select different areas on the page. I'm going to select this Save button, which will create a button right next to it. I'm going to rename it and call it Send to Sheets. This is my whole mod. I'm going to call this Sheet. I only want it to run on Airbnb. I can go to Advanced Item Options and I can change this logo to Google Sheet. And you can now see it previews up here. So now, anytime I click this button, anything that's added after that is going to happen. So first of all, I need to extract data from the page. So I'm going to look for the Extract from Page brick. Click Add. And then I will define the properties down here that I'm interested in. So for instance, I'm interested in the name. So I'm going to rename the property, and then I'm going to use the selector again to select something on the page, like the name. Maybe I want to add another property like the total cost here. I'm going to scroll down on the page, and I see total before taxes is right here, so I'll call this total. And then I'm going to click that right there. And now, when I click my button, you can see that it's ran this brick and I've got data. I've got, if you look in the output tab here, I've got the name and the total. All right, and so next I want to collect some notes. So I'm going to add a brick called the Show a Modal or a sidebar form, and it's going to do exactly what it sounds like. It's going to create a form. I'll just give it a title of Note, Submit button. Maybe that is just going to be sent to Sheet. I can leave that as is. It doesn't really matter. Over here, I'm going to change this field name to Note. I'm going to call the label Note. I'm going to get rid of the description by clicking ABC and hitting Exclude. And then I'm going to change this type to paragraph text. And you can see I can kind of preview this form over here. And so now I want to show you what happens when I click that. Not only does it scrape the page, it's going to open this form. So I can say, here is a test note. And once I click Send to Sheet, if you go back to this brick here and click the Output tab, you'll notice we can actually access that output where it says, here is a test note. So I'll go ahead and click Copy, and it's going to copy that path. And then lastly, I want to take all of that I've collected from extracting from the page and from this form and send it to a Google Sheet. So you can see it's one of my most commonly used bricks here. But if you don't see it, just search for Google Sheet, and it will come up here. And you'll need to select a Google account. If you've never done this before, it's going to prompt you to give some permissions and things. You'll select a Google Sheet and then a tab within that Google Sheet. So you can see all this. And then to set these values, this is where I can start typing. So for instance, for the name, I can do @data, and you can see with this variable popper where I can see what I have access to from that extract from page. And so I want the name there. With the URL, you might be wondering how we get that because we didn't actually scrape it, but that's part of our input. And so if you type @input, you'll see all of the different things you have access to, one of which being the URL. So we'll put that there. For total cost, I scraped that, so I'm going to look for under data, look for total. And then for notes, this is how we'll actually access that form value. Since we just copied it, we can paste it. Or once again, we can type @form and you can see what you have available. It'll be note or whatever you called the name of that field right here. So now once we've done that, let's press our button and see what happens. Testing this note. We can now see I have a new listing here with the details, the link, the total cost, and my note here. All ready to go. To keep using this, I'm going to want to make sure I save it over here. And then if I wanted to share it with anyone on my team, I would need to package it as a mod. So I'd click these three dots, click Add to Mod, and I would go for Create New Mod, Move, and then I would say, I pick an alias here. If I haven't already, it'll ask me to pick one such as, you kind of think of this as like a username, and I can say demo, call it whatever I want here. I could leave this as is, or I could add a better description, scrape Airbnb and send to Google Sheet. And then I hit create. And now I can share that with my team by going to app.pixiebrix.com, opening my extension console, look for this send to sheet, click these three dots, and I can click which team I want to share with. So I could pick another team in there. I could save that there and then copy that link and send that to anyone on my team, and they can start using that as well. They will need access to that spreadsheet to be able to connect in there. But yeah, that's how you would do this. If you have any questions, let me know.